Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here today. I'm Soraya Diase-Coffelt, and I would like to make the following statement about my resignation from the position of Acting Attorney General, as well as my belief that the people are crying out for justice and of our need for an independent Attorney General. Throughout the campaign last year, the people of the Virgin Islands cried out for justice. They no longer wanted a weak Attorney General and Department of Justice that appeared to do only the governor's bidding and sweep corruption under the rug. They wanted someone to fight a war against corruption, a corruption that has plagued all of us. I was ready and willing to take on that challenge as the people's Attorney General. In fighting a war against corruption and effectively doing the other important work at the Virgin Islands Department of Justice, I needed the right weapons and tools. The most important are the people who would work closely with me, as we must work together as a team, bringing experience and ensuring confidentiality and professionalism. Virgin Islands law provides that the governor appoints the Attorney General as well as all the attorneys in the Department of Justice, but it is the Attorney General who prescribes the work. Before accepting the position as Attorney General, I met twice with the governor and lieutenant governor. The governor specifically told me that I would be able to build my team, and he would not micromanage me. Those are his words, not mine. This was a critical issue for me because of what was needed to be as what I needed, and I believe the people demanded for an effective Attorney General. The governor knew this, the lieutenant governor knew this, and I knew this. Based on what the governor assured me, I trusted him and I accepted the position. However, it quickly became obvious to me that what he had assured me would not happen. Here are the facts and nothing but the facts. Number one, I was forced to accept upper-level staffing changes that I did not agree with and had not even been consulted on. I was treated as a messenger, as I was given letters by the Chief of Staff to deliver to two managing attorneys who were being fired the very afternoon that I was given the letters. Again, I was never consulted on these firings. After I was given the letters to deliver, I objected to firing these attorneys, especially since they had the experience I needed to move forward. I was told that the decision had already been made and they had to go. I was ordered to deliver the letters to them. One of these attorneys had been on staff for at least 8 years and had a disabled child, but now he has no job to support his child. Number two, on Wednesday morning, January 7th, I was attending the inaugural activities on St. John, and I received a telephone call from the Department of Justice informing me that an attorney had walked into the office and announced that this attorney was now the new Solicitor General. Needless to say, I was very surprised as no one had told me anything, and there was still a sitting Solicitor General. I was also informed that the attorney said that this would have to be kept quiet for a couple of weeks because that attorney still had a pending case in the court. Virgin Islands law prohibits an attorney from working in the Department of Justice and also having a private practice. I asked the contact person to tell the attorney that I knew nothing about what was happening and to ask the attorney to please return the next day. I later telephoned and notified the governor's legal counsel about this, as he was the person designated to vet applicants. I told him that I objected to this attorney being hired at the Department of Justice and mine not having been previously notified. I also said that no attorney should be brought on in violation of Virgin Islands law. This attorney did not return again to the office while I was there. Later, at a meeting with the governor and his other staff, I adamantly objected to this attorney being hired and given the high-level position of Solicitor General. I stated my reasons why. The governor agreed with me and said that he would not make the appointment. The lieutenant governor was at the meeting and also fully supported me. Unbeknownst to me, however, things began to transpire behind my back. Within less than a week later, I was told that the governor had changed his mind and now insisted on this attorney being given the high-level position after all. Government House's response to my objection was that I was not to communicate with that attorney while that attorney was working at the Department of Justice. In other words, I was told that this attorney was untouchable. The Solicitor General's office oversees a group of the Solicitor General oversees a group of attorneys at the Department of Justice and handles all leases, contracts, and appeals for the government. The Solicitor General makes policy decisions on all these matters. Virgin Islands law provides that the Attorney General is the head of the Department of Justice over the Solicitor General. But this attorney was now going to serve as Solicitor General and would be untouchable by me. As I saw it, that attorney would be able to do whatever that attorney wanted to do and have a direct line of communication to Government House, but I would not be able to communicate with that attorney. I was shocked and found this totally unacceptable. Number 3, I would like to next state what happened in regard to my bringing on Mr. Kevin Rodriguez to assist me. I went through the appropriate and proper channels to obtain authorization to bring him on board to help me with the transition. These channels were the Governor's Chief of Staff, the Lieutenant Governor, who is the chairman of the transition team, and the new Director of Personnel, with whom Mr. Rodriguez had worked during the Turnbull administration. Mr. Rodriguez's expertise is in human resources and personnel management, having served 8 years as a personnel director for Governor Turnbull. He was assisting me in the transition, which involved making an assessment of the staffing situation in the department, including lawyers and non-lawyers. Mr. Rodriguez was at the Department of Justice for 1.5 days, from Wednesday, January 7 to Thursday, January 8 at approximately noon. At around noon, I received a telephone call from the Governor's Chief of Staff who ordered me, quote, to get rid of him, end of quote, and, quote, to have him leave the building immediately, end of quote. I reminded him that he had given me permission to bring Mr. Rodriguez on, and that I had also spoken with the Lieutenant Governor and the Director of Personnel. The Chief of Staff continued to yell orders at me to get rid of him. At no time did Mr. Rodriguez interview or hire anyone, as that was not his role. He also did not take over anyone's office, as there were plenty of vacant offices at the Attorney General's office. It is very important for me to say that it was my understanding that other acting commissioners and division heads were meeting with their personnel managers and assessing their own areas. So what I was doing was not only permitted, but also customary. Unfortunately, there was no personnel manager at the Department of Justice. So that is one of the reasons why I asked Mr. Rodriguez to assist me. For the very short time that Mr. Rodriguez was there, all I heard were compliments from the staff. After he left, many employees expressed to me their disappointment that he didn't stay on. He found many deficiencies and discussed with me corrective actions to be taken, including ways to obtain federal grant monies to hire more staff. Number 4, the Special Investigations Division at the Department of Justice is a highly specialized division which handles confidential investigations and other work separate and apart from the police department. It used to have over 10 highly trained investigators. The previous administration fired the director and whittled it down to 4 investigators. I wanted to build it back up with experienced investigators to do the necessary white-collar crime, corruption investigations. I submitted 2 resumes of very experienced and qualified individuals to head that division. And no time did I receive a response back from anyone at Government House. When I spoke to the governor about filling that position, he told me that they were still looking into it. Then I was provided with a resume submitted by the governor for his family member to head that division. In my opinion, that individual did not have the experience or qualifications to serve in the Special Investigations Unit. To have such a person involved with critical investigations at the Department of Justice was also totally unacceptable to me. The governor made a statement on a radio show this past Saturday, January 17th, that I resigned because of what he termed, quote, a catfight, end of quote, and, quote, personality issues, end of quote, with the attorney whom he wanted to bring on staff as Solicitor General. Those were not the true problems, which were much more egregious and profound. I must also state that there were also additional serious problems that I faced and I endured, but I will not get into them now. It is my firm conviction that the Department of Justice cannot be treated as a governor's private law firm. It does very important work on behalf of the people of the Virgin Islands, including investigating and prosecuting crimes. My desire was to build a Department of Justice that the people of the Virgin Islands would be proud of. Moreover, I wanted to build a Department of Justice that the employees would be proud of, and that would rival the U.S. Attorney's Office in experience, professionalism, and confidentiality. When I met with the staff at the Department of Justice on St. Thomas, I gave them this vision statement. And could you hand that for me, please? This is a vision statement that was typed out and given to each of the employees on St. Thomas. It says, January 8, 2015. Vision statement for the VI Department of Justice. The VI Department of Justice will provide excellent, independent, and ethical legal services for the U.S. Virgin Islands in order to achieve justice and to assert, protect, and defend the rights of the people. I am saddened by the fact that I was not allowed to do that and do what I wanted to do, and I knew that what the people wanted me to do. I saw the handwriting on the wall, and in just 10 short days, I knew that I was not going to be a figurehead Attorney General. I had no alternative than to resign. Importantly, my statement should not be seen as a personal attack against the governor. Instead, it is to let the people know some of what I endured and what I believe an effective Attorney General should not have to put up with. I'm making a call to the people of the Virgin Islands to put pressure on our legislature to change the law so that we can have an independent Attorney General and Department of Justice. There are many ways that the law can be changed, but it will take boldness and an overwhelming support from the people. Rampant corruption will continue unabated, and justice will never be achieved if we allow the status quo to remain and politics as usual to prevail. I call for justice for the people of the Virgin Islands, and I call for an independent Attorney General.